Hello my gorgeous people, my name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and these are your weekly horoscope tarot card readings, and they are from the 20th until the 26th of July 2020. So these weekly horoscope tarot card readings are of course for all 12 signs of zodiac, and they are for the time or for the period in between the 20th and 20 and the 26th of July 2020. And I am going to start how I always start, with my gorgeous and ever so precious Aries. My beautiful Aries, this week just kind of like protect yourself a little bit. But when I say that you need to protect yourself a little bit this week, it's just basically the fact that someone is going to try to maybe take a little advantage of you. Somebody may see you like a quiet, weak target. Okay, so you are, through this particular situation, on one hand you are most certainly going to protect yourself, but on another hand the actual outcome is going to be the certain hidden enemy will be revealed, and this is why I need you to protect yourself. But on another hand, this is going to be really good for you because it's going to have such a powerful influence and powerful impact on you without you even realizing, because your reaction is going to be quite good. Your reaction is going to be very positive, and it's most certainly going to be something very responsible about your reaction. And it's really good because it's actually going to make you to think in a slightly different way, and it's also going to help you realize the certain vision that you wouldn't normally have. This is a very powerful moment in time because it's also going to affect you when it comes to the actual energy. So this is going to be brilliant. It's actually a little bit of a blessing that you are going to have, because for on one hand you are most certainly going to protect yourself, but then on another hand this is just going to help you to have a very powerful and important edit, which is most certainly not only going to become a rather powerful moment in time when it comes to your own transformation, because this is going to open other doors around you, which are going to be very important later on, quite significant moment in time indeed. But most certainly it's about the vision that you are going to have before the end of this week. This vision is so important because it's going to help you to express yourself. This vision is so important because it's going to help you to do what you wanted to do. This vision is so important because it's going to open other doors for you. This vision is so important because it's going to readjust you. You know, it's going to make an important readjustment without you even realizing that this is the actual readjustment as such. But it all boils down to one particular thing, you see, because at some moment in time within the last 13 months, you have found yourself maybe in the certain circle, maybe in the certain element where you were just thinking in a particular way, in particular when it comes to your own success, your own expansion. There was something that you were finding quite limited. So now this is a quite powerful spiritual flip-flop moment where you're gonna be able to turn the situation around and actually have a quite a nice moment, which is that limited success, you know, that limited situation that you found yourself in when it comes to your own success is just going to have become an important moment in time when it comes to that particular vision that I'm talking about. And most certainly it was pretty much so connected to the actual certain delays, to negativities, and the actual lack of motivation as well. So this is why this is a powerful week when it comes to your transformation, because this is going to in turn really powerful time when it comes to your inspiration and potential. My gorgeous Aries, just make sure that you are kind of having all your energy like kind of like open. You know, when I say make sure that you have all your energy open, just make sure that you understand that there will be a lot this week that it's actually going to be happening, in particular when it comes to you starting to find yourself being attached to certain things that are going to surprise you. You're going to find yourself being attracted to certain things that are going to surprise you, and this is nothing unusual. It's all part of this wonderful process that you are going to have, because you are at the same time going through a very important stage when it comes to your own, not only transition, but a completion at the same time. So therefore, you will be provided with certain elements when it comes to options and possibilities that are going to be around you, but you must be the one to pay attention to it in such a way where whatever comes out, whatever it's around you, and in particular when you come across something that was like kind of sleeping for a long time, you know, there's certain feelings, there's certain emotions, you know, there's certain part of your life that you wanted to work on but you kind of left behind. This is going to bounce back, and it's going to provide you not only with a really powerful opportunity, but at the same time it's also going to be such an important moment in time when it comes to the actual wake up call. An important wake up call is going to take place this week, my gorgeous Aries, you see. So I'm just going to see what is going to be your oracle card. Okay, so there you go. It's basically, you see, it's a standstill. This is a very important sign, and it means that you will be very powerful when it comes to the actual meditation, and very powerful week when it comes to the actual grounding. So when I say very powerful week, you know, when it comes to meditation and grounding, most certainly is to do with the information that you will be provided through this. You know, if you reach this particular stage when it comes to your own relaxation, at the same time an important information, it's going to travel towards you and it's going to surprise you, but it's going to be literally sacred moment in time, because that very moment, the very, very important invocation, manifestation, it's going to start, it's going to begin. Very, very important week indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Taurinis, my gorgeous Taurus, my beautiful Taurinis. Do you know what? This is really good because it's a bit of a complex week that you're actually going to have, you know. It's to do with like the part of your life that was making you very hesitant, the part of your life that was making you maybe a little bit anxious, and the part of your life that was making you kind of like a very indecisive. You know, what was making you so indecisive over the last 7 weeks, you know? And this indecisiveness kind of affected you. This indecisiveness kind of slowed you down over the last 7 months. You've got it. Pam, pam, para, pa, pam, pam. 7. Number 7 is sacred moment in time. Nothing is like, oh God, you know, like just a coincidence, blah, blah, blah. No, baby, no. The last 7 months, 7 is a ridiculously powerful number. It's a ridiculously important number. It's a ridiculously significant number, in particular when you come to terms with something very important within yourself, you know. But also, on another hand, it's a powerful number when it comes to your spirits, when it comes to your spirit guides, when it comes to your spirituality, and when it comes to you reaching a very, very big moment and very important moment. You need to understand that it's you have got a power, beautiful, important power within you. But this time it's going to remind you and it's going to refresh you how important it is for you to be yourself, how important it is for you to do things that you want to do, to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. And that in itself is going to bring you a magic. That in itself is going to bring you an important turning point. And now the certain doubt that you had as well about some kind of new beginning, some kind of new option, this is all going to become crystal clear this week. Something really mind-blowing is going to happen when it comes to you, but in particular when it comes to something being crystal clear, which is on another hand going to give you confidence. It's going to refresh you, it's going to rejuvenate you. In return, it's going to reflect on your balance, and the radiance is going to be like ooh la la in many different ways. But then on another hand, it's just going to be so good because it's going to be like, oh thank you God moment that you're actually going to have. So something quite really really negative, something really horrible, not horrible and negative, like something, well, I suppose, yeah, something really horrible that you couldn't do much about, and it was all about timing, waiting, and just doing and making and trying to do your best, you know, while the certain time passes. Now that time is slowly going to be passing, but on another hand, it's all about the realization that the power, my gorgeous Torini, is within you. The power is in you. It's on another hand, you know, it's just basically number 7. Just remember that this week you will have like a little sign, really beautiful little sign when it comes to perhaps maybe a little feather, when it comes to some kind of unusual situation that is going to unfold. Maybe something is just going to fall off the table. Maybe, you know, you're just gonna like smell somebody's perfume that no longer lives in this world anymore, somebody who passed away. However, you can expect a very important actual sign this week from the spirit, my gorgeous Torini, as this is a very, very good, because that sign is going to confirm, look at this, relaxation. That sign is going to confirm to you like the certain doubts, you know, the certain option, you know, the certain possibility, the certain ability. It's just going to be very strong sign about the actual confirmation at the same time, because it is just a problem about the certain unfoldment of the problem slowly coming to an end. But even most importantly, it's about the actual activation that this is going to bring with itself. The activation is going to bring a special balance, and that in itself is going to bring a beautiful harmony, and that in itself is going to help you to realize that, you know, there is a very big obstacle that is slowly coming to an end, and all you need to do is just keep going, carry on, because an important inspiration is going to come through at around the end of the week, and it's going to surprise you. But then again, at the same time, it's just all about having this absolutely wonderful and enlightening moment at the same time. You are most certainly going to hear about a certain success when it comes to the actual security and power, and that in itself is going to be brilliant, because as I said, it's to do with the gain, and it's to do with the overcoming obstacle and challenges as well. So now this is your lucky wiki. So when it comes to like maybe investing in a little bit, when it comes to being brave, when it comes to trying things, testing things, when it comes to focusing on things, when it comes to the new beginnings and things like that, this is going to be most certainly your lucky week, because the energy is actually going to be on your side. So any problems that you want to do, that you want to deal with, just go for it. And also I can see a very successful negotiation here, and this is important because that negotiation in itself is going to surprise you. So if you are not aware of the negotiation, if you want to have one, just go for it, my babies, because this is going to be quite good, because it's all about you finding out something really important. You're going to find yourself on an advanced level, but it's to do with a victory, and also, you know, as I said, like a very successful combination, negotiation. On another hand, also it's the actual transformation, highly transformational week, and someone in your life is going to tell you something. Someone who knows you, it's going to not actually tell you something, but somebody who knows you is going to inspire you at the right moment, at the right time, and the answer to that is going to be a timing, a number 13. So when somebody inspires you, somebody in your life, somebody who you really like, somebody who you really appreciate, it could be somebody around you, or it could be somebody on the other side of the screen, you know, it doesn't matter. That inspiration is also going to be strongly connected to number 13. It's to do with transformation, my babies, but it's also to do with the answer when it comes to some kind of timing. There you go. It's to do with the time that you were dissatisfied, something that was bringing you down and draining your energy. By the same time, it's also to do with a wish coming through, coming forward, and starting to unfold in front of your very own eyes. But at the same time, you will know that to avoid certain conflict, you are gonna need to be part of the little competition. This is very important, and you're gonna do absolutely great, my gorgeous Torini. Okay, this is important. A pleasure. You're gonna discover a new pleasure. Very important. You are going to discover a new pleasure this week. Indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Gemini, my gorgeous Geminini. Do you know what? This is brilliant, you know, because there are 4 major things that are actually going to help you this week. There are 4 major things that are going to change, you know, and in particular, when it comes to like some kind of ineffective time, when it comes to some kind of slow time, when it comes to the actual lack of strength that you have felt purely because it was like to do with a certain indecisive moment also, and this indecisive moment is coming through all sorts of different channels, which means that it wasn't your fault. It was nothing to do with you. There were other things that were playing like a certain role here, a certain factor in order to make you kind of feel in a certain way, you know, and that in itself kind of just kind of like a maybe made a certain like a, not a failure, but it made certain things not happen in your life the way you wanted them to happen, purely because it was not happening as quick as you wanted. So this is a very important moment in time, because also that affected your strength a little bit and it made you indecisive, which means that affected other things and other parts of your life. There are 4 major things that are going to happen this week that are going to be amazing. There are 4 major things that are going to happen this week to you, my gorgeous Geminini, that are at the same time going to open the new pathways. At the same time, the 4 new doors are going to be open. Remember 4 things as well. Bridge, okay, being able to reach for the things that you weren't being able, you know, you're going to be able to reach for the things that you weren't be able to reach before. It's important. Number 2, it's the power. Number 3, it's a promise. And number 4, it's creativity. This is a very important moment in time for you, my gorgeous Gemini, and also I highly advise you to be as creative as you possibly can be, my gorgeous Geminis. This is important because on another hand, you know, you're going to learn something, you know, about yourself this week, and it's going to surprise you. It's going to be quite amazing, and it's going to be quite remarkable, and it's going to be very much so to do with your power, with your magnetism. You know, it's all about coming to terms with how special you are, how powerful you are, how significant you are. Geminis, you're very powerful. You have a very strong energy. They're very, very powerful. There are lots of powerful people around the world that are actually having this zodiac sign, and they're very powerful, and this is nothing unusual. It's purely because this magnetism that you have, it's very strong, very powerful. It's almost impossible not to notice. So when the other parts of your life are just balanced really well, then you are able to use this remarkable energy in your own advantage because you're so radiant. So most certainly this week it's all going to be about your radiance, my gorgeous Geminini, and just do things that you want to do. Really focus on yourself as much as you can, because every single time, it's nothing to do with being selfish or anything like that, but just take it as this is your week, you know, this is your time. This is like for you to pay attention to things around you. And also, you know, because something is going to come up, some kind of devotion, it's going to come up. Some kind of devotion is going to need your attention. It's going to need a little bit of a water. You know, it's like a flower that is just going to become clearly obvious around you, that is at the same time going to require from you to notice it. You are the one who needs to notice it. You are the one who needs to water this flower. It's about your own devotion. This is a very important moment in time because at the same time, you know, there is a specific goal. There is a very important specific goal that it's going to come through, that it's going to come forward. And it's important because that specific goal in itself is going to lead towards the actual power, like ooh la la, my babies. That is going to lead towards the actual accomplishment and a very important confidence that you're going to benefit from, like there is a no tomorrow, because you're going to do something so beautiful, and someone at the right moment in time time, it's also going to influence you and confirm something for you as well. It's important because it's to do with your security, it's to do with your power, it's to do with your stability, but it's also to do with some decision that you made about a year ago, year and a half ago, you know. But it's just, you know, you're waiting for the right moment, for the right time, because this is really big, and it's to do with things around you. It's to do with you making a big decision, but it's also to do with your own possession as well. It's an important week because also, you know, you are going to realize that there is somebody, you know, you need to be a little bit careful around or about this week, because somebody is going to show their face, and that face may not be as beautiful as you want it to be. That face may not be as beautiful or as nice, because something really, some kind of like, I don't know, a bit of snake in the grass is going to come out, because it's to do with a certain greed. So you're just going to learn how to deal with someone, you know, and go around it, and not to become too obvious that you know this about them. So it's just try to avoid any conflict or anything like that, and this is the best thing to do. But also emotionally, you know, emotionally you're going to be questioning yourself this week. You're going to be wondering, you know, something is going to be bothering you, you know. Maybe it's to do like when it comes to your relationship, you know, maybe something is not the right way, you know, maybe something is not how you wanted it to be, you know. Something is just going to be bothering you when it comes to somebody very special in your life. So you just need to kind of act on it. And if somebody is confusing you, if you need to know a little bit more answers or anything like that, this is a perfect week to do it and to sort things out, because karmically you're gonna get a lot out of it. Every single day is different, every single week is different, every single month is different when it comes to the actual energy and balance. And most certainly for you, this is going to be great to actually try to sort things out if something emotional come up that you're unsure about or unhappy about, and this is gonna in return provide you with options that you wouldn't normally have. And also it's just gonna be really great when it comes to the actual enlightenment and vitality. So try to like maybe just take care of yourself this week. Try to drink as much water as you can. Try to cut out rubbish, you know. I'm not saying that you're doing rubbish or anything like that, but just try to cut out things in your life that maybe, if you drink alcohol, try to cut it down a little bit. If you smoke cigarettes, try to cut it down a little bit, and things like that. If you eat too much sugar, if you take too much salt, you know, just try to cut it down a little bit. You know, it's very important indeed. And also, you know, if you do drink coffee, you know, you see my little coffee here, my little coffee. This is my little tiny coffee, you know, and this is... Oh my God, it's so nice. So now... I like a good coffee. So this is not a normal coffee, like, you know, them horrible coffees, like, ew, like those, these new coffees that are like a powder, and then you put in, it's full of rubbish, you know, those freeze-dried coffee. I spoke about it before. It's so bad for you. So I'm not saying that coffee is great, but, you know, certain type of coffees are actually quite good for you if you drink just, you know, like if you don't drink too much. And the reason I say this and I take this as an example is because the freeze-dried coffee that you buy in the supermarkets, it's not only freeze-dried coffee, you know how they fancy call it, and you see ingredients, you know, and it's just like freeze-dried coffee. Yeah, right. It's not. It contains so many other ingredients that they don't want to tell us. It's just like it contains all sorts of things like sugar, soya, blah, 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 you name it. But they only put freeze-dried coffee. And this little coffee that I'm drinking is like... it's called a Turkish coffee, you know. It's called like a Turkish coffee, but it's just so nice. You know, it's really pretty old-fashioned, but it's just, you see how it looks like. I don't know if you can see it so I don't spill it, you see? It's like a freeze-dried, it's like a natural coffee, you know, that you can actually get. They call it Turkish coffee, but it's so much better for you because it's without all these horrible ingredients and things like that. My point is that if you do like coffee and things like that, instead of drinking like that horrible coffee, you can maybe perhaps try drinking this coffee. It's slightly different way of making it, but, you know, it's just so much better for you. And you drink it so much less, you know, and you don't need milk, you know, just the coffee in itself. So that's why I'm saying this. So this is important, like to pay attention to like little things like that, my gorgeous Gemini, when it comes to that particular balance, and this is going to help you. And I'm just gonna see what is your oracle card, my gorgeous Gemini. Bam bam, wisdom. You see this? Like, I'm not being funny, but this is just basically completely exactly what I was saying, my gorgeous Gemini. Wisdom, you know, this is brilliant. You're gonna find yourself being very smart this week, you know, very clever, you know. And also it's going to be the week when of your very special reconnection with yourself, and you will see, because you're going to find yourself being attached to things that you haven't been in touch for a really long time. Everything that you see this week, everything that you hear this week, you know, just it's going to contain a little message of wisdom. But on another hand, it's the great week to make important decisions. Okay. So now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Cancer. Cancerini, you will have an important vision, okay? You will have an important vision as well. Do you see how powerful this week is going to be for all of us? This week is just so important when it comes to our psychic feelings, when it comes to our third psychic eye, our pineal gland, you know. It's like basically very, very important week indeed. And also it's to do with the actual news. You're going to hear a good news, and it's to do with the actual fear. It's to do with negativity. It's to do with uncertainty. But in particular, when it comes to your safety, when it comes to your security, and when it comes to your power, there was something that was worrying you like a big time. So this is going to be really important week, because it's also going to kind of, it's on one hand, it's going to confirm like a certain suspicion that you have, but that you had, but then again a very important responsibility is going to come through. It's going to come forward at the same time, and this is good because on one hand, you know, you will realize, you know, that you had a certain fear, and that fear that you had was purely to do with like this maybe failure, and it's to do not even with you, but a lot with looking at the bigger picture. This week, you're going to have a very good news. This week, you're going to have a good news about the actual prosperity, well-being and luxury, okay, comfort, security, and a very important moment when it comes to releasing like negativity at the same time, because it's going to be like, oh, thank God. And that in itself is going to be such an important moment, because you know it's going to confirm to you the certain conflicting influence that you had with somebody not that long ago. You know, this is going to confirm that you were absolutely right. But then on another hand, you know, it's all about the actual idea as well at the same time that you are going to have. Just pay attention to that idea, because there are other things that are going to unfold at the same time. The idea, it's only going to be little. The idea, it's only going to be tiny, but it's just later on, it's going to just become very important part of your life that is going to help you to make a decision, in particular with stagnating stage of your life that haven't been moving and haven't been changing. And also at the same time, the beautiful bonus you're going to do, bonus you're going to make, bonus you're going to create, because there are two quite interesting things that are going to come out of it that you've never done before, you've never tried before, but now most certainly it's going to be like, oh my God, you know, I'm just going to go for it. This is important. It is very important to live this life and just do as much as we do, much as we can possibly do. But it's also very important to live this life and try to do as many different things as possibly you can do, and follow your intuition, because your intuition is not going to lead you astray, in particular this week, because you're going to find a confusing situation and you're almost not going to be too certain what to do. But then not even like a day later, you know, out of this indecisive situation, there is an important answer going to come through at the time when you least expected. On one hand, this is going to create an important confirmation, completion, but on another hand, it's going to be connected to the wake-up call, wake-up call, wake-up call. This is an important wake-up call because it's almost certainly going to be connected to the certain perseverance. Almost certainly it's going to be connected to the major effort that you did and you put into the certain stage in your life, certain part of your life, that now you will know there will be a very powerful reward that you're going to have because you've been so smart, you've been so clever. So this week it's all about the reward that you're going to have, but at the same time, you're going to feel quite overwhelmed in a really good way, and that is going to reflect on your health. That is going to reflect on your health in the best possible way, because for those of you that had like a very long ailment, most certainly now you will start feeling quite refreshed, and this is very important. As I said, it's to do with you feeling overwhelmed, but on another hand, it's a challenge. Any challenge that you have, please just go for it. This is the week for not only paying attention what is creating a challenge in your life, but it's also very important week when it comes to making a certain effort, when it comes to doing things, when it comes to creating things, when it comes to trying things. You need to be as open-minded as you can, but also just remember, Cancerini, you need to expand yourself. You need to expand your energy. You need to expand your power by throwing yourself into all sorts of situations that you are not familiar with. But it's to do with who you are, with what you do, and with things that are not in your life, but they're literally above your head. They're not in your life, but they're slowly coming in. This week will be important for you to realize this, because something is on one hand going to be mind-blowing because it's going to surprise you. Maybe you got something wrong not that long ago, maybe you understood something slightly wrong in a wrong way, and you find yourself on the other side where you shouldn't find yourself at. So this week will be important, and this is all going to be very valuable when it comes to your understanding, but most certainly when it comes to your own spirituality, because it's going to lead towards a very important and rather powerful spiritual adjustment. This is wonderful because it's going to bring you an important time of invocation, rebirth, but which is going to lead towards a very powerful perspective at the same time. This week it's also going to be a bit of a time that you will have a worrying about certain loss, worrying about certain loss. Something is not going to happen as you wanted it to happen, in particular when it comes to maybe certain financial outcome, but then you're going to be absolutely fine. So first of all, it's going to be a worry, oh Lord, worry because of the certain loss and things like that. But then again, there will be a very powerful indication that you're going to have that, just keep going and keep doing what you're doing right now, because there is an important recovering from loss coming. Don't bring yourself down, don't think in a negative way, and also try to not to be too kind of affected by things that are happening around you, because you're going to be absolutely fine indeed. Okay, and just one more oracle card, my gorgeous Cancerini. Diligence. This is important. Look at this. Absolutely remarkable. Just basically, this is the week to spread your wings and fly. Nothing will stop you. Nothing can stop you. And even if you feel worried, and even if you feel uncertain, even if you're not too sure which way to go, just be strong and make sure that you're as creative as you can and keep yourself busy, because when you least expect it, out of this situations, this is the time where at the same time you're going to have a very powerful transition, that you are about to spread your wings and fly, but it's going to happen through the situation when you're going to feel oh God, kind of uncertain, and when you least expected, this is going to happen. Remarkable. A vision, creativity, radiance, harmony, an important completion, and most importantly, the new beginning at the same time. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious my beautiful, my powerful Leos, my gorgeous Leonis. I love every single one of you, my beautiful Leonis, my gorgeous Leos. You know what? This week it's all about the actual, you need to be strong, you need to make a certain change, you know, when it comes to your diet, when it comes to something that you're doing, it's very important to pay attention to, because this week it's just so important for your nature. This week is so important for your personal balance. This week is so important when it comes to your strength. You need to be very strong, you know, my gorgeous Leonis, because it's also going to be like emotionally very confusing. And when I say emotionally very confusing, you just really need to pay attention to what you need to cut out of your life. You know, it is just that type of the week. You know, it's all about our own spirituality, but it's also about the understanding that if we are doing something that it's like maybe having a negative impact or negative influence on us, you know, that can affect us, not only our way of thinking, it can affect us in so many different ways. So this is why this week, my gorgeous Leonis, is going to be so important, because it's going to give you the chance and the opportunity to go with this absolutely mind-blowing flow. But at the same time, if you do pay attention to this, and if you do kind of cut out things of your life that you don't want, that you don't need, but in particular things that are making you feel like maybe affecting your energy. So perhaps you smoke too much, you know, perhaps you're smoking, you need to cut down. Perhaps you're taking too much sugar, you know, perhaps you're drinking too much, you know, perhaps you're doing naughty things, you know, that you shouldn't do, you know. And that's why I'm saying that it's all about this balance, because once you make this connection, even when you just sit down, my babies, and you need to just kind of think about and around what you need to do and what you need to pay attention to it, at the same time there will be things that are going to be happening to you, and at the same time there will be the balance that is going to come through, and it's also going to bring you a very powerful moment in time when it comes to the strength and you having a control over a situation like you never had before. And that in itself is going to reward you, and it's going to re-energize you, and it's going to help you to see things clearly. So it's just so much to it. It's a very powerful week when it comes to your personal balance, my gorgeous Leonis. So this is why. So as soon as you sit down and just think, oh, maybe I smoke too much, maybe I drink too much, maybe I take too much sugar, maybe I'm taking too much salt, you know, all these things are affecting you and are having a negative impact on you, on your balance, on your digestion and things like that. It's just a process of thinking what you need to change, what does it needs to go. This week is very important to do this, because it's just all going to be about speed process, like really fast process. But at the same time, on the spiritual level, you know, there's so many things that are actually going to start unfolding for you at the same time, and you will have a very special reward by the end of the week that it's actually going to happen to you. And that reward is going to bring you the necessary balance in order to understand something very, very unusual and very different in your life, connected to somebody else, which is going to help you to see the bigger picture, and it's going to help you to connect to it on a completely higher level, because it's at the same time going to bring you a missing puzzle, like a very special reward at the same time. So this is nothing unusual, and it happens when we go through the time of the actual transformation, which is exactly what is happening here. On another hand, my gorgeous Leonis, you know, there is this certain concern that you are going to have this week. This certain concern is going to bring you a bit of a sad moment, you know, and a bit of unhappiness that you are going to have, and maybe a little bit of worry, you know. And this is just to do with the actual maybe certain desolation. It's to do with the certain negativity, and also it's maybe it's going to cause like a little bit of like a thinking thoughts, you know, thinking thoughts. Maybe it's going to cause you like to think quite a lot right before you go to sleep as well. Pay attention. What are you thinking about? What is on your mind? What is making you worried? Because at the same time, that is going to help you realize, the way out of it, in particular this week, but it's also going to confirm the certain doubt to you. It's going to confirm the certain suspicions to you. It's going to confirm the certain gossip to you. It's going to confirm some kind of reasonable fear that you have, but at the same time it's to do with a bit of a shady character as well. So this is how all these things are going to be actually connected. This is purely because it's to do with the stagnation that you had, with uncertainty that you had, and unhappiness that was making you kind of in a little box, like in your own little prison, in a certain way. Over the last about, I would say, 12 weeks in particular, you were feeling it like some kind of a very slow or partial change, and also you're feeling a certain ending at the same time, but it's to do with stagnation. Well, this week it's all about the transformation, and in order to come on top of this, it's basically just try to remember. It's a bit of a very powerful energy when it comes to get rid of the old things in order to make a space for the new. Get rid of the old things in order to make a space for the new. So this is energetically also very powerful. So anything around you, I highly suggest, I know it sounds weird, I know it sounds bizarre, but anything around you that you have actually this week that you find very stagnating, that you find very maybe that you want to make certain changes, just do it, because every single thing that you do and exchange, is just kind of going to bring you wonderful energy, which is just going to reflect on your personal vibration, which is just going to make you feel so good. It's important because also, if it comes for the actual investment, this is not the great week to actually invest. Please, the week after that, it's absolutely fine. So this is not the best week for the negotiations. This is not the best week for the actual investment. So if you can just avoid it this week and try the next week, it will be much better. On another hand, when it comes to going back, there was a certain unfinished business that you had. So now this is actually going to, you're going to have a good news about an unfinished business, about a process, slow process that haven't been moving, slow process that haven't been changing. You're going to hear a very important news about it, which is going to be very successful, which is on another hand going to surprise you, but it's also going to bring you power, success, accomplishment, and very good new direction that you wouldn't normally have, very good option that you wouldn't normally have, and that in itself is going to bring you a bit of a hermit moment as well. And the hermit moment is very powerful, it's very significant, it's going to help you to get in touch with yourself on a very high and very spiritual level, but on another hand some kind of realization you're going to have. So take it like a beautiful, amazing, gorgeous blessing. If you do have a one day, when you do have a one day when you feel like a bit of a hermit moment this week, my gorgeous Leonis, you just need to know that there's going to be an important blessing that you will have, because through this period, or through this stage when you have a hermit moment, there is a very important realization that you are going to have. On one hand, it's going to help you to see what were you in self-denial for so long, but on another hand, it's going to bring an important information. So pay attention, my gorgeous Leonis, pay attention. So now I'm going to see what is your oracle card. Standstill, surprise, you're also having a standstill, my gorgeous Leonis, which means that, when you least expect it, there is something is going to come through to you, something is going to come forward. Maybe you will be watching TV and then suddenly, oh my God, I need to do this. Maybe you're going to wake up the first thing in the morning and something is going to come to you, oh my God, I need to do this, and it's going to surprise you. It's going to come with a thought, but with an element of surprise, but it's going to help you to understand something so much, because you will be able to reflect on it so powerfully, so beautifully from a completely different level. It's going to help you with your own reflection, and it's going to confirm something to you at the same time. Okay, and also if you're able to find yourself somewhere by the water, if you're able to go there somewhere and be by the water, spend some time by the water, you know, this is, you're gonna find this very beautiful, very important, and ridiculously rejuvenating at the same time. It's going to help you so much with your own spirituality, but also with your own grounding as well. Okay, so now before I do my gorgeous Virgolini, I'm just gonna have a little bit of coffee. You see, this is that coffee that I'm talking about. This is the coffee that is actually quite good for you, you know, instead of just drinking that freeze-dried nonsense. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me swallowing, but this coffee, it's like a Turkish coffee. They call it like a Turkish coffee. It's not like a freeze-dried coffee. Freeze-dried coffee in the supermarket is actually really bad for us. I said this before. They call it like this fancy name, like freeze-dried coffee, you know. And they say in ingredients it's only like a coffee, but no, baby, no. There are many other things in these ingredients, including like a soya, including sugar, including lots of other things that are not really good for us, that are really bad, and they involve nasty chemicals. Turkish coffee, it's actually still quite pure. So this is something that I would highly suggest, and you don't need any milk for it. It's just a little bit of coffee, maybe a little bit of honey, maybe a little bit of sugar, or maybe just without. But most certainly it's much better for you, because it's actually, you drink much less, it's much more effective, and it's much better for you, you know, because coffee is quite, you know, it can be quite good, you know, if you take you know, reasonably, you know, not 10 cups, you know. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Virgos. My gorgeous Virgolini, my gorgeous Virgolini, my gorgeous Virgolini. You are reaching a very significant stage in your life, you know, because of two particular things. Completion. You're reaching an important stage when it comes to a completion, because now you will know that you are ready for the next stage. But it's down to you to realize this. It's down to you to work on this. It's down on you to pay attention to this, because this week it's also going to provide you with a magical reward at the same time when it comes to your thinking, when it comes to your expanding your mind, when it comes to focusing on your energy, because there will be so much more that you will be able to realize around you at the same time. The second thing I was going to say, my gorgeous Virgolini, is the fact that emotionally you also need to pay attention to what is bringing you down and what is making you feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable, because you are going to kind of need to work on something something like very close, something you're gonna need to work on something, but on someone who is very close to you. So this could be either your partner, or this could be either someone around you whom you have like some kind of unfinished business, and you're going to need to work on it, because there will be two particular things that are going to come out of it, like very important things that are going to kind of be very significant for you later on, because they are most certainly going to kind of provide and create a certain shortcut. Because otherwise, if you don't, you know, pay attention to these things, then they're just going to become kind of like karmic baggage, you know. And when you end up with a karmic baggage, it means that you missed your train at this moment in time. You missed your spiritual train, you missed your karmic train, which means that this is going to come back at some moment in time and provide you with a certain option and provide you with a certain opportunity. But sadly, it's going to slow you down when it comes to other things in your life. And this is why it's very important to pay attention to this balance that I'm talking about, my gorgeous Virgolini. Is indeed. On another hand, you know what I was going to say, there is going to be like a little hidden enemy that you're going to also become aware of this week. So be very careful, my gorgeous Virgolini, at the same time. There is a little enemy that you're going to become aware of, but at the same time, it's not going to surprise you completely. It's going to be like a moment like, yeah, I knew it, you know. So if you do have a certain negotiation this week, you know, if you do need to do something like kind of like a signing something something really important this week, you know. Just pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to your intuition and pay attention to your third psychic eye, because it's going to be wide open, and pay attention to actual, feeling, because it's just kind of like if you feel quite negative about it, my advice will be just try to kind of stay away from the situation and try to not kind of do it this week. Maybe try to do it the week after, but most certainly this week would not be the greatest or the best when it comes to the actual negotiation or starting something huge, signing signatures and things like that. Try to avoid this week, because it's not going to be as good when it comes to the actual focus. If you wait just one more week, there are certain rewards that you will have throughout a completely different perspective, which will be very rewarding at the same time. But this week, just be a little bit careful. This is more about you having your eyes wide open and just paying attention to what's happening around you, because something is going to surprise you. But at the same time, it's going to create an important moment when it comes to a very, very powerful invocation at the same time. An idea that you are going to have will see you through. An idea that you are going to have this week is going to be mind-blowing. An idea that you are going to have this week, it's going to be absolutely remarkable, because there are going to be so many confirmations at the same time. But emotionally, you need to see what is there is something emotional that you're going to have to work on when it comes to you feeling maybe a little bit uneasy, maybe a little bit uncertain. Very important time to work on the problems, like if you have a partner, of like a people that are very close to you, because karmically, as I said, if you leave, it is just going to affect you and slow you down in a certain way. On another hand, you are most certainly going to have a very special reward for your kindness. This is going to happen in a couple of ways. It's something that you have done not that long ago. It's going to return to you so beautifully, and it's going to provide you with reward. On another hand, as kinder you are, the more you give this week, the more it's going to get back to you. Absolutely mind-blowing week when it comes to karma, but when it comes to the actual really big and important reward at the same time, my gorgeous Virgolinis. But on another hand, it's to do with the materialistic gain that you are going to have, and this is absolutely remarkable. Just also to know, it is a bit of a tower moment that you will have this week, a bit of like a sudden change, complete and sudden change, but then again, that in itself is just going to lead you towards the path that you wouldn't normally have, and that is so good, because it's going to help you to go on the next stage. It's to do with an abandonment of the certain maybe past relationships, an ending, the certain ending. It's going to happen, but it's connected to the unexpected event, and the unexpected event is just going to kind of like, oh God, it's going to surprise you a little bit, and maybe it's going to affect you a little bit when it comes to the actual loss of stability, but sorry. But that in itself is going to be really good, because also you will know, that there is a path that is going to come through it that you wouldn't normally have. And it's also going to kind of provide you with the direct answer when it comes to some kind of a timing, when it comes to some kind of vision that you are going to have, and when it comes to the actual harmony, which is on another hand also going to help you to come to the end of the conclusion, to the end of the problem, which is also by the end of the week work in your favor as an inspiration. Very important, my gorgeous Virgolini. And also on another hand, it's the basically, you need to see who is actually going to kind of try to maybe control you a little bit this week. And that person who is going to try to control you a little bit this week, my gorgeous Virgolini, just make sure that you understand that, don't rush into any decisions. Like anyone who is trying to kind of push you towards something, anyone who is trying to make you to rush towards a certain decision and something like that, just remember, my babies, step away from this situation, because the night is sacred. The night is sacred. So if someone is rushing you into something, you know, and that person will be a little bit negative, that person will be a little bit darkish when it comes to their energy, not when it comes to their appearance, like a dark person with lots of negative energy indeed. And it's just someone who is going to try to maybe control you in this particular way. So if you feel like it, and in particular when it comes to you making some kind of decision, no baby, no. Just remember, step away from the situation, and the night is sacred, the evening is sacred. Go to sleep, and the next day there is going to be a remarkable realization that you're going to have, because it's purely going to be connected to a very powerful bridge when it comes to you, when it comes to your enlightening moment, when it comes to your understanding. And this in itself is going to provide you with a sacred realization. And on another hand, it's going to help you to avoid a certain conflict, you know, or a battle. So if somebody try to go wind you up a little bit, just remember, rise above the situation, my gorgeous Virgolinis, right above the situation. This is very, very, very important. But also, you know, on a very happy note, when it comes to your success, you know, when it comes to your accomplishment, this is a very good week. You will hear an absolutely mind-blowing news, mind-blowing realization, and it's going to be like, oh my God, why didn't I do this before? Oh my God, why didn't I pay attention to it before? Why didn't I direct my energy towards it before? It's going to be just like that. So very important moment in time when it comes to your own accomplishment, and this is going to lead you towards something even bigger, towards something even better, towards something remarkable, because you are going to find out something so beautiful and so remarkable and so powerful about yourself. And this is going to happen at the right moment, at the right time, when the balance is going to be absolutely perfect. Pay attention, my gorgeous Virgolinis, because at the same time you will hear something about justice. At the time when you hear about a certain justice, and it's going to make you feel so vavavumish, it's going to make you feel so good. Pay attention, my gorgeous Virgolinis, because that moment in time it's going to be super powerful, because there is the advice that you are going to get, and that advice is going to be life-changing. And it may not be directly said to you, it may be directly said to you, or you're just going to hear it somewhere at some point, at some moment in time, but it's most certainly going to happen not long after you hear about a certain justice. So pay attention, my gorgeous Virgolinis, indeed. Okay, so now I'm just going to shuffle these cards. Yeah, it's absolutely remarkable week when it comes to the actual security, when it comes to the gain, when it comes to the, you know, challenge that you had before that confused you, but most certainly it's going to be remarkable, because it's just all going to lead towards your own success and a powerful confirmation. And look at this, an enlightenment. That doesn't surprise me, my gorgeous Virgolinis. This is all about your own personal enlightenment. Very, very important moment in time, which is on another hand, it means, you know, something is going to happen to you this week that is just going to surprise you. Something is going to happen this week to you, my gorgeous Virgolini, that is going to feel like a little bit of like a twilight zone. But then at the same time, when that happens, you will know that there's a very important challenge that you are going to have, and you need to go for it. You need to do it. You must not ignore it whatsoever, because this enlightening moment, it's going to lead towards that particular moment when you're going to know that there is going to be the challenge, and you're going to surprise yourself purely because this week you will be blessed by having the control over a situation. So that in itself is going to give you the vision, and it's going to provide you, to look at the situation from a completely different angle. So that doesn't surprise me. But as I said, when you kind of like have a really strange moment, you could be absolutely anywhere. You could be at home, you could be in the forest, you could be outside in a garden, but something is going to feel really weird. something is going to feel really odd, and you're one of the like most powerful signs when it comes to the actual energy, when it comes to the earthly energy, when it comes to your connection to it, because you kind of benefit from it like there is no tomorrow. So you're very sensitive to it indeed. So that's why this is going to be the moment of enlightenment that you're going to have, and it's also not that long. You're going to come to terms with something, situation, an idea, but it's also going to be the sign that very soon there is an important challenge that you're going to have, and that challenge that you're going to have, it's going to end a very annoying burden in your life, because it's almost instantly going to redirect you. Amazing. Okay, so now before I do Libra, I'm just going to be 1 second, and I'm going to take my little coffee. Hello. Okay, just 1 second before I do Libra. Dun. I'm back. Libera. Smile, my gorgeous Libra, smile. Smile, my gorgeous Libra. And you know why? Because you are going to realize an important potential. An absolutely important potential. There is something going to happen this week which is going to surprise you, my gorgeous Libra. You're going to find yourself in a situation which will really most certainly surprise you in many different ways. But that in itself, it's also going to be the time that it's going to be very significant when it comes to you feeling happiness. And it's also going to be connected with some kind of connection and reconnection at the same time. But there is this idea that you're going to have, It's to do with your own ability. It's to do with what you are doing. It's to do with what you are focusing on. It's to do with what you're making, what you're creating, what you want your life to be. But it's also to do with the fact that you will be able to step back, from your own life and see the situation from a completely different angle. A very powerful vision you're going to have, my gorgeous Libra. Very powerful vision. And on another hand, very good news at the same time about someone very special in your life. Someone very special in your life. It's going to bring you so much happiness and so much positivity and so much optimism at the same time, and it's going to inspire you. And this inspiration is going to be really, really good. On one hand, it's going to give you the reason to be so proud about something, but on another hand, it's just going to be so important because it's to do with your path, it's to do with a new beginning, but it's to do with things that are missing in your life that you need to bring in this week. You must completely avoid any negativities, around you, because you're like a Virgolinis. You're very similar to Virgos, my gorgeous Libra, because you're very powerful when it comes to your intuition, your energy, your psychic feelings, but also most importantly, when it comes to the actual earthly energies, because you most certainly are very much so connected to them. So this is why you can kind of be affected by things around you, and you must understand and you must realize that this is the time for you. It's the time to create your own bubble, because now, my babies, this is all about your own transformation, but also with a very important inspiration that is going to help you not only come to terms with a stage of your life that no longer serves you, but most importantly, it's like what was missing in your life, that really important puzzle is about to return. And this is why I like this, because it's all about you expressing yourself, all about you enjoying yourself. It's going to require from you to step into the uncertain waters, because most certainly it will be the challenge that you will be provided by at the same time. But then that challenge is going to be absolutely everything, because on one hand it's going to help you to avoid certain conflict, but then on another hand it's all going to be connected by you actually being able to work on the part of your life from a very sacred stage that brought you a bit of a dissatisfaction over the last few months. So now this is just going to give you beautiful blessing of the opportunity that you wouldn't normally have. And it's wonderful because it's going to require from you, my gorgeous Libra, to actually see where is this concentration coming from. There is a very deep concentration you're going to be showered by a deep concentration, which means that very often, few times this week, you're going to find yourself in thinking mode. But every time when you find yourself in that thinking mode, just remember that your sacred number this week, you even have a sacred number, is 777, my gorgeous Libra, 777 again. And this is a sacred number, which means that at the same time you will be able to kind of reflect on your life from a completely different level. And that in itself is going to reveal something. It's going to reveal something very interesting and very important about the person in your life, but then at the same time it's just very beautifully going to be connected to the certain timing that is going to be absolutely everything at the same time. But also, even more importantly, it's like a deep concentration. When you feel it, just see what every time when you drift away, you will be drifting away 2 or 3 times. You're going to drift away this week, and each time when you drift away, you're going to be provided with an opportunity, but it's not with the actual realization, what is the next step, what do you need to bring into your life. This is a very important when it comes to your personal enlightenment, when it comes to deep concentration and application, when it comes to the certain learning experience, study, when it comes to your own reflection, and also respect for the knowledge. And that knowledge is not going to come out of nowhere, it's connected to your own vision, but it's just coming from a completely different dimension, which means that it's not going to be as obvious that this is kind of like something that you should do, something that's going to be completely obvious. And that's why I just need you a little bit of concentration and just try to like grab those thoughts and ideas that you are going to have at the same time. It's to do with the desire. See where your desire is taking you this week. See how your desire is making you feel this week, my gorgeous Libra. But at the same time, it's to do with the new ideas, and also as somebody in your life that is just kind of like a certain person in your life, it's going to be connected to bringing you an important news. And that news that you are going to have, on one hand, is going to help you to symbolize maybe the certain like a little bit of like a hidden danger, unknown danger, but you're not going to be part of it. You're going to be well away from it. But that in itself it's a very important sign that you're managing to move yourself away from the situation that no longer serves you anymore, in particular when it comes to some kind of manipulation. So you need to be aware of this. Who is going to try to kind of manipulate you in a certain way, and most certainly you are gonna, through this situation, gonna realize kind of like what you are in self-denial about on one hand, but then on another hand, it was most importantly, you are going to find a certain responsibility that you avoided not that long ago, and you're going to need to work on this. Pay attention to what a responsibility you have been avoided, and that responsibility is going to come back this week, give you a little slap in your face. But this slap is going to be so good because it's almost immediately going to provide you with a little burden. And this is what I need you to understand. This is what I need you to understand in such a way that this is going to be a blessing, because it's going to open your eyes. And as soon as you come to terms with this, so it's to do with an avoiding responsibility that is going to bounce back, and it's going to create a moment of, oh God, do I have to do this? Yeah, just go for it. You will be surprised, because this is going to lead you towards a mind-blowing moment. No matter what this is, no matter how negative this made you feel, no matter how God, this makes you feel, just go for it and try to be as nice as you possibly can. Try to not to look at the situation from a dark way, from a dark angle, because that in itself is just going to unlock, it's going to lock a couple of doors, like without you even realizing, with the power of your subconscious mind. So be as optimistic as you can, because you're going to be absolutely fine. Just remember my words, remember my words, remember my words. On another hand, you are going to hear very good news when it comes to your own accomplishment, and that in itself is going to make you feel so good, because it's to do with your success, it's to do with a certain gain, and most certainly it's about the overcoming an obstacle that was just absolutely creating such a negative stage in your life. And this is going to be brilliant, because you're going to find yourself on an advanced stage. It's to do with a victory, and a very important and powerful negotiation that is going to change absolutely everything. If you need to negotiate, just go for it. If you need to sign something, just go for it. If you need to start something, just go for it. This is all about you throwing yourself into those waters that were kind of murky, but once you start swimming through them, you will realize that they're getting like a clear and clear and clear. And this is purely because of these energies and dimension that you are at the same time going to find yourself in. It's wonderful, because it's a sign that whichever competition you are part of, whichever challenge you have, it's going to be remarkable for you to actually go for it, because the worry that you will have, it's going to have a rather nice flip-flop moment, and it's going to bring you a good news when it comes to your gain, advancement, and some kind of desires that you expected, but they will come from a completely completely different way indeed. And this happens when it comes to a part of our lives that is connected to some kind of unfinished business, but is so strongly engraved into our spiritual journey that we simply cannot avoid anymore. Abundance, my babies. This is your oracle card, my gorgeous Libra. It's all about your own abundance. This is remarkable. So which means that the Asha land is going to be super fertile this week. But on another hand, it also means try to drink as much water as you can this week. Try to cut down on sugar if you're eating sugar. Try to cut down on coffee if you're drinking coffee. Try to cut down on tea if you're drinking teas. You know, try to make sure that you're making the necessary adjustments when it comes to things like that you could be doing that are kind of bringing you down and having a negative impact on you. But also on another hand, you know, it's the great week for the manifestation on one hand to start it, but also it is going to be the reward when it comes to some kind of unfinished business at the same time. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Scorpio, my gorgeous Scorpione, my gorgeous Scorpione. This week, you know, there is a very interesting experience that you are going to have, and this experience that you are going to have, it's gonna like really surprise you, because it's just all about you kind of coming to terms with a certain stage and a certain part of your life is slowly coming to an end. And this is not just like, oh yeah, just like, yeah, just now something is coming to an end. No, baby, no. This is something that was going persistently. Do you know what? I've got like my cat's hair everywhere, because it's quite warm, and then the cats, the hair gets stuck everywhere, so that's why I'm all itching. But yeah, so it's important, my gorgeous Scorpione. It's like basically a very, very important opportunity you are going to have, and it's to do with your own experience. It's to do with what you are doing in life, but also most importantly, it's time to move on. As I said, this is not something that just came out of nowhere. This is not something that just manifested itself like today, yesterday, or like a week before. No, baby, no. This is like, this is pretty much so to do with like about the last 24 to 36 months of your life, the part of your life that slowly came to an end. But you just need to realize that you are the one who needs to make a change. You are the one who needs to kind of connect to it. You are the one who needs to pay attention to it, because it's just maybe to do with the part of your life that you maybe were looking in the different places, maybe you were looking in the wrong places, and then that was kind of affecting your balance in such a way, and it brought lots of uncertainty into your life. And then that in itself, in return affected you in so many different ways, in particular when it comes to your focus. So that's why I'm saying the whole new perspective for you, my gorgeous Scorpione, it's actually going to come this week. The whole new perspective. I need you to remember 4 things. I need you to remember an unfoldment. I need you to remember harmony. I need you to remember completion, and I need you to remember a wake-up call. These 4 things are going to be very important for you to remember this week, and you will know exactly what I mean, because at around the midweek the situation is going to arise, and that situation is going to kind of like be like connected to like some kind of sudden change, but it's just going to be like the biggest blessing for you at the same time, because it's going to help you to connect yourself, and that in itself is going to bring you an enlightening moment, which is going to bring you bravery in return, and that it's going to put you in touch very closely with a rather challenging situation that you wouldn't normally be part of, but the way things are going to unfold, it's going to be absolutely remarkable. And And the reason why things unfold like this is purely because of the actual completion of your own journey, which is on another hand, by the end of this week, going to provide you with a new beginning at the same time. But you also most certainly need to remember to be happy, to smile, because you are going to be very infectious when it comes to that, and you're going to invite so much positive energy and vibrancy around you at the same time. And that in itself, it's going to put you in touch with someone very special in your life. This week there will be a rather important reconnection that is actually going to take place, not with a lover, not with a boyfriend, not with a girlfriend, but it's the reconnection with a very special person in your life who is going to be an integral part of your spiritual journey. And it's going to be it's going to provide you with an idea, inspiration. Okay, and that in itself is just going to get you going, and it's almost immediately going to make you very creative. On another hand, pay attention to this week, like what is making you feel good, what is making you feel happy, what is making you feel creative, because through your own creativity, something is going to be revealed to you. You will also feel this week like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. No, you just do it. You do as much as you can, If you need to go out and do something, go for it. Don't kind of hold yourself down. Every single time you do this, you kind of prevent yourself from moving forward. This week, it's all about moving forward. So if you feel like really low, if you feel like really down, this is actually great. You're not going to feel like that the whole day. You just need to break through. You just need to go through this door. And all you need to do is just get yourself, make yourself available. This week is important for you to make yourself available. And where you're going to be told by somebody in your life, somebody very important in your life is going to tell you something. And first you're going to find yourself like, oh my God, it's going to be mind-blowing realization that you're going to be told. But then on another hand, this is going to be so good because it's just going to kind of like help you out in order to make a decision when it comes to the actual some kind of reliability. But also on another hand, it's going to confirm something to you in particular when it comes to a wise investment. This week will be really good when it comes to the investment, wise investment, anything you want to do, anything you want to try, when it comes to things around you, when it comes to your life, when it comes to your expansion, but also when it comes to investing in yourself. See what you feel, see how you feel like spiritually and what you feel connected to. It's important to pay attention to this because on another hand, this in itself, it's going to help you out to realize something because it's the wiseness that you are going to have, is the wisdom that you're going to have. This is another thing which is going to be so important, my gorgeous Scorpione. It's all about an important wisdom that you're going to have, and that wisdom is going to strengthen you. That wisdom is going to help you to bring you the balance and have a control over a situation like you didn't have in a long time, and that is going to help you to make an important judgment, with something that was just clicking for so long in your life and it was affecting you. So this is where this is going to come through this serene knowledge that you are going to have. It's to do with the common sense, but it's also to do with the uncertainties and things that could be happening if you kind of take the wrong turn, for example. So it's going to be absolutely fine because spiritually you'll be powerfully penetrated, so much, and that in itself is going to be connected to the certain education, to the certain learning process and that you have been part of not that long ago, and that in itself it's going to help this hidden emotion that you have to come to the surface. And it's all about the practicality. It's all about you being rather analytical. You need to trust yourself, you need to trust your intuition, but at the same time it's to do with the part of your life that you were frequently too restrained. It's important because this is all connected, and it's connected to the actual time of your life that you had a fear of the unknown. No, baby, no, just go for it. You're remarkable, you're incredible, your energy is so powerful. If you've got it all right here, you're just bursting with so much energy that people just can't basically ignore. So you just need to use this for your best things, for the best abilities, really. And it's to do with the actual fear of the unknown from before. but now it's connected to the actual future planning, my gorgeous Scorpiones. It's very, very important indeed. It's to do with who you are, it's to do with your life, it's to do with what you were doing so far, what you like to do. You know, this is just part of this huge, massive picture, but it's just now you're gonna find yourself in a situation when you're gonna realize, wow, I've got more than I need in order to move on. I've got more resources that I need in order to move on, and something is going to happen, and it's going to bring you such an important promise at the right moment, at the right time, and that in itself is going to be remarkable, you know, because it's going to mark the beginning of a quite beautiful stage, you know, in your life, which is going to help you out so much when it comes to the actual confirmation. Okay, powerful confirmation, my gorgeous Scorpione, you see. And your oracle, gosh, oh Lord, you see, now your oracle card just literally just like kind of like a, sorry, your oracle card literally jumped out, and you know what it is? Healing chaos. I mean, come on, healing chaos means that the thick stage, the thick period that you had over the last 4 weeks, you know, the negative stage or a negative period that you had over the last 4 weeks, and I say thick because the energy was pretty heavy, and this is how you felt. And when the energy is so heavy and you feel it like this, then it just kind of closes so much around you, because you're very sensitive in many different ways. You're so powerful, but then you can feel these energies, you can sense these energies, and that can make you feel very sensitive, and it can affect you without you even realizing, by sucking out your energy, by draining your energy. And when that happens, you start feeling negative, and then you open your eyes, and then you see life through this certain negativities. So as heavy as this was, the better it's going to be, my babies, because now this week, now this energy is going to have a gorgeous flip-flop moment, and it's about to start changing, and it's about to start working in your favor. So if you feel negative, if you feel weird, if you feel bizarre, all you need to do, just remember, it's all about the healing chaos. The weirder the energy is, the more powerful you are going to be. The weirder the energy is, the more stronger you are going to be. So it's all about the healing, you know, an important week when it comes to the actual healing. And also, just another thing that I was going to say, this is another thing, Lucy, patience. Just remember, you're also kind of going to have a moment this week when you're going to kind of feel like that something, oh God, you know, something is not going to unfold and happen like you wanted it. And then that is going to kind of make you think, oh no. Just remember, have patience. I need you to remember, my gorgeous Scorpione, to have a patience. This is very important this week, and it's going to make sense so much, because you are going to have a reward. But that reward that you're going to have is just requires from you to have a bit more patience. You will see exactly what I mean, my gorgeous Scorpione. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of water before I do Sagittarini. Oh God, water is so important. I said this before, and water is just so important. It's like the energy, you know, it's an important energy. And there are lots of people who don't know this, but you project your energy into the water so powerfully, so strongly. And when you do this, you get this energy back. There is so much about the actual water that people don't know. And I'm going to do the video on this like soon, but this is so... I know it sounds crazy, but be nice to your water. Be nice to your water. Try to drink natural still water, and try to kind of like be nice to your water by projecting this positive energy towards it, because it's going to get back to you, believe me or not, and it's going to heal you even more. Okay, so now the next sign. Where am I? Here we go. Oh, who is now Sagittarini, of course. So now, my gorgeous Sagittarini, do you know what? You are going to feel so proud this week. But before you feel so proud this week, there will be the moment when you're going to feel like, oh God, you know, like you're gonna feel like you've done something wrong, like you've done something negative, you didn't take the right turn, and then that is going to bring the certain blame, and then that at the same time it's not going to last really long. This is going to be a wonderful moment in time because it's at the same time going to make you feel like kind of indecisive, and this is the energy that we want. This is the energy that we need, because this indecisiveness is going to come from a completely different dimension, which is going to help you to realize perspective in your life that you wouldn't normally have, and it's going to strengthen you so much, and it's going to help you out to open your eyes, to have a control over a situation that you wouldn't normally have, and that in itself is going to enhance your energy, it's going to enhance your power, it's going to be very beneficial for you for many different ways, and it's at the same time going to become a rather shaky, momenty, timey in such a good way, where you will kind of have a moment, like very powerful moment, when it comes to your own particular wake up call. What is this wake up call going to do? It's just going to refresh you. It's going to help you out to realize that the new stage of your life is going to require from you to see what is missing. What is missing is going to, in your life, it's going to be evident this week. What is missing in your life, it's going to be obvious this week, but it's also going to be on you to come to terms with this, could come to terms with this situation, could come to come to terms with this particular stage. On one hand, it's going to bring you an important focus. On another hand, it's all about the perspective that is going to help you to see what do you need to pay attention to in your life when it comes to you feeling like restrained. You feeling restrained. What is making you feel unhappy? What is making you feel uncomfortable? It's time for you to make unnecessary changes when it comes to this, because most certainly the time it's going to be right. And this is why I said that this is going to be such an important moment in time when it comes to your own wake-up call, my gorgeous Sagittarini. It's to do with your experience. It's to do with things that you are doing, but it's also to do with things that now it's time for you to move on to the next stage, you see, on other things in your life. Not completely change everything, but just to see, it's to do, as I said, it's to do with your experience, it's to do with the things that you are doing, it's to do with things that you are focusing on, but you will know that there is something that is missing. So it's to do with this part of your life, this stage, but it's also with the elements that you need to bring in, and they will become obvious, because every time when you're by yourself this week, every time when you drift away, when you have a little bit of maybe dreaming, lucid dreaming, maybe when you're like focusing, maybe when you're just kind of drift away, this is when you go towards the all sorts of different dimensions, which on another hand, reward you with the power of being so wise. On one hand, you're so wise, but then on another hand, it gives you this bravery, and it's all about enlightening your life by doing the right things and by progressing in your life, by not sticking to the same things, for too long. I'm not saying to change everything. As I said, it's just about the bubbles. Few different bubbles that are missing in your life that you should bring into it. Like, for example, like whatever you're doing, see what could be the next stage, what you can bring into it to make it more colorful. What could you do? What could you bring to it? And this in itself is the energy that is going to provide you with a very important vision that you are going to have at around the end of this week, my gorgeous Sagittarini. This is very important, because also something that you started not that long ago, and it was like an unfinished business, is going to also come back, give you a little spiritual slap, and it's good because it's going to also provide you with a direction, and this in itself is going to be such a beautiful gift at the same time, because it's to do with the success. So an unfinished business, it's going to come back, and you will know when is it going to come back, because you're going to start thinking about it. You're going to hear something about it, and then you're going to start thinking about it. Then you will know this is the the sign for you to pay attention to it, my gorgeous Sagittarini, indeed. So that in itself is going to be remarkable when it comes to the fear of the unknown that you had before, but also and most importantly, when it comes to your future planning. On another hand, you had patience for this. You will be rewarded for your patience this week. Not fully, not completely, but it's the realization that is the possibility that is going to be quite mind-blowing. So it's to do with the patience, what you were waiting for, but most certainly it's going to be about the harmony that you are going to have, which is going to require from you to bring things into perfect union, which means that you're going to need to work on the management, compatibility. You're going to need to work on the certain adjustment and readjustment at the same time, but pay attention who is making you feel good this week, who is like being very influential for you this week, my gorgeous Sagittarini. Please pay attention to it. And on another hand, there is a very powerful sign that you are going to have. You are going to have an omen, my gorgeous Sagittarinis, this week. So just pay attention to this omen. It's very, very important. On another hand, this is going to be connected to the actual some kind of successful combination, and it's also that omen is going to happen at the right moment, at the right time, because it's going to be like confirmation about something. It's to do with some bird, but something about that bird is going to be a little bit unusual. Something about that bird is going to be quite cute. Something about that bird is going to be quite significant. Perhaps maybe a little bird is going to be running in front of you. Maybe it's going to be flying in front of you. Maybe it's going to be really young. Maybe it's going to be quite clumsy. Something is going to be so cute about that bird. But then at the same time, when you see this omen, you will know that success is coming, but it's to do with some kind of combination that it's missing and that you need to pay attention to it. Indeed. And also, when you see that little bird, my gorgeous Sagittarinis, also pay attention to what is on your mind at that very moment in time. What were you thinking, but in particular when it comes to the problems and the things that are slowing you down and the things that are messing up with your own vision, this is a very important moment in time that you are going to have, but it's also going to help you out when it comes to the certain actual conflict of interest that you had, not that long ago, and some kind of inability to maybe work with a certain person or with a certain people, or a certain difficulty that could have been kind of connected to that particular situation, On another hand, you're also going to kind of be having a very important moment when it comes to authority. Now, let me tell you something, Sagittarini. It's good because your energy will be very strong. So if you want to show yourself this week, go for it, my baby. If you want to prove yourself to someone this week, go for it, my baby. If you need to discuss something really negative or kind of like something that's bringing you down or something that is making you feel quite bad or negative because it's connected to the certain person who is making you feel this way, you are going to surprise yourself. You're going to impress someone so much, the person of the actual authority, and you're going to feel great because it's going to bring you such a wonderful moment of honor that you are going to have. So this is what you're going to do. This is what's going to happen to you, but you also use the situation to actually project that energy in that particular way. You will be strong when you need to deal with things that are making you feel like you're weak maybe and things like that. So this is going to be great. But on another hand, there is going to be a certain choice, when it comes to feelings, when it comes to emotions, when it comes to love. For on one hand, there is going to be quite interesting realization, but on another hand, there is some kind of love choice going to start kind of manifesting slowly if you're looking for love. And for those of you in relationship, it means there is an important choice going to happen to both of you that you're both going to benefit from. On another hand, one more thing I was going to say is just basically like look, this is how it goes. You got a bit of like a yin-yang moment, my gorgeous Sagittarini. On one hand, you are going to have a little bit of like a maybe disappointed situation this week when it comes to some kind of maybe uncertainty that is going to lead into a little bit unhappiness, But then at the same time, it's connected to some kind of bitter experience and stationary period in one's life, a little bit of disappointment, a little bit of weariness, But this is brilliant because this in itself is going to to help you realize, the new possibilities. The new possibilities are going to come through this. So this is why you're actually going to have the blessing, because that in itself, it's not only going to help you with the new possibilities, but also it's going to help you to have a new approach to old problems, new knowledge, my gorgeous Sagittarini. Very important indeed. So now I'm going to see what is your oracle card, my babies. What is your oracle card? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 bam, 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 bam. Okay, I had to. So now, my gorgeous Sagittarini, this is your oracle card, and it's forgiveness. This is very important, It's karmically, forgiveness means that it is going to become evident that maybe you were affected by someone, and that feeling needs to go. At some moment in your life, someone hurt you, someone maybe did something to you, and now you're losing out on things because maybe you're still holding on to something that you shouldn't. So it's very important for you to release this and let it go. So anyone who comes into your mind that pisses you off, or anyone that comes into your mind this week like that makes you feel really bad, that you have a feelings towards them like, oh no, you just please release this energy. It's very, very important. Karmically, this is something that you will do for yourself, not for them, because you will release yourself, and it's going to help you so much. And you will see it's going to help you to release yourself from this karmic baggage that you shouldn't really have. You will see it's going to be important for you to do so. Okay, so now before I do Capricornius, I'm going to be just 1 second. Bam, 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 bam. You see, who is next? Who is next? My gorgeous Capricornius. Is it Capricornius? Is it Capricornius? Bam, 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 bam. Capricornius, dun, 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 dun. Capricornius, dun, 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 dun. Capricornius, bam, 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 bam. Capricornius, dun, 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 dun. Capricornius, bam, 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 bam. Capricornius, bam, 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 bam. Bam, Capricornius, bam, 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 Capricornius, bam, 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 raise your energy, Capricornius, bam, 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 bam. Something is going to surprise you big time this week, my gorgeous Capricornius, you know, and you are going to find yourself in a very strange and unusual element where you are going to need to make an important decision, you know, and you are most certainly going to find this rather challenging indeed, because it's going to surprise you, because it's going to happen slightly at a time when you wouldn't expect this, but it's going to be connected to an unfinished business, because and now it's at the same time going to provide you with a really new path of success that you wouldn't normally have. But it's to do with the timing, it's to do with the speed, and it's to do with being able to jump over and get to the stage and part of your life that is just going to be absolutely remarkable. And most importantly, it's going to unfold much sooner than you think. So the challenging situation is going to be remarkable, because it's also connected to the time when maybe, you know, you kind of started something. It's to do with an unfinished business, but purely because you wanted to avoid certain conflict. Do you know what, Capricornius? You did the right thing, my gorgeous, because that's why you are going to be going through what you're doing now. On one hand, you see, I'm seeing this again. It's like basically the certain little hidden agenda. Hidden agenda again, it's going to be become quite obvious to you this week, my gorgeous Capricornius. And that hidden agenda, it's also on one hand going to really help you to move away from the certain negative control, because something took over and something kind of like affected your energy in such a way where you found yourself being in the space, you find yourself being in a place, you find yourself being in a dimension which is kind of not real, which means that you need to understand that the power is within you. Ignore, I've seen this before, my gorgeous Capricornians, this is important to ignore any negativity around you, because there are going to be a couple of things this week that are going to affect you, but most certainly at the same time, both of these things are going to be absolutely remarkable when it comes to some kind of invocation, when it comes to some kind of manifestation, and when it comes to a whole new focus and perspective that you are going to have at the same time. It's so important to say this to you. At around the midweek, you're going to find yourself being a little bit indecisive, but it is to do with an old you. It's to do with a return with, an old you. Something that is going to really shake you up. The experience that is going to shake you up in the best possible way, and it's going to make you realize, why am I not doing this? Why am I not focusing on this? Why am I just letting these things to affect me around my life that I have nothing to do with? So this is so important for you, because spiritually you are going to have an important moment in time when it comes to your own enlightenment. This is so important to say that before the end of this week, my Lord, just remember that you are going to find yourself like questioning something. Something is going to make you feel uncertain, and it's going to be so important and such a big part of your life that not only you're going to benefit from it, but like a very group of people, maybe like a family members and things like that. So this is going to be quite good, and it's most certainly going to be connected to the actual vision that you need to follow at the same time, because later on this is most certainly going to help you to adjust your life by knowing exactly what is slowly coming to an end. Do you know what is slowly coming to an end in your life, my gorgeous Capricornians? This is part of the huge picture. This is part of the massive picture, but this is also part of the picture where there's something is missing, and it's to do with an old you that is about to return into your life at the right moment, at the right time. As I said, it's to do with the things that you were focusing on before, but you just kind of left them behind because you thought like maybe it's not the right time. Now you will know what this is. What this is, let me know in the comments. This is going to be very interesting, my gorgeous Capricornians, because most certainly you need to remember that it's to do with your own intuition. You need to follow your own intuition, and this is going to come at a time where you are maybe going to be led away a little bit by somebody's energy whose energy is very strong and it's very powerful, and then it will overshadow you a little bit. But that is a very important moment in time for you to remember to trust your intuition. You're very powerful, you're very strong, and you're also able to feel the earthly energy from a completely different angle. And that's why you just sometimes you take a really big picture and you look at it, and then in that big picture it's so big that you lose yourself sometimes. You're most certainly not selfish, bless your heart. But this week it's important for you to think about yourself as well, okay? And it's also very important to pay attention to your balance when it comes to your health. So make sure that you're drinking as much water as you can. Make sure that you do healthy adjustments. Maybe you need to exercise a little bit. Maybe you need to do things differently when it comes to like taking lots of sugar. Maybe you're eating lots of sugar. Maybe you're not, you know. Maybe you are drinking too much alcohol, maybe you're smoking too much. It all depends, but there are adjustments that you are going to need to make, and if you do make them this week, you're going to find them so beneficial. But also at the same time, you know, there is something very important that is going to happen when it comes to your spirituality, when it comes to your consciousness, when it comes to your subconscious mind, and when it comes to the realization how powerful this is. As long as you pay attention to these things that you should be kind of changing, because it is just going to work so wonderful for you later on. My gorgeous Capricornians, you know, it is about disorganization. This is again that I'm saying, my gorgeous Capricornians, is disorganization. You're gonna need to reorganize things. You are gonna need to change the way you do things, you know. Something is like kind of like a slowing you down, and something is also kind of having an effect on you, like on your practicality, on you feeling frequently too restrained, and that in itself is affecting you when it comes to your future planning. But also it's releasing this energy when it comes to you having the fear of the unknown that was actually affecting you by now. It was affecting you by now, and this week most certainly you will come to terms with the situation where you're gonna realize there is going to be an option, but then you will subconsciously, almost like consciously, like kind of block yourself by thinking that you're scared of this situation because you're in fear of the unknown. This week is so important for you to be open-minded. Be as open-minded as you can, because there is something absolutely huge, amazing, massive, enormous that is going to come through. Something that is missing in your life, Capricornius. But you should be doing this. It's an integral part of your spiritual journey. It's an integral part of who you are. And it's an integral part of the changes that you need to make. But now, just this week, it's all coming to terms with it. What this is going to bring you like confusion. But that confusion itself is going to be a remarkable blessing at the same time. It's to do with a reorganization, disorganization, from before that took you on a slightly different path, slightly different journey, but most certainly now the balance is going to be absolutely right. The balance is going to be absolutely perfect indeed. This is the time of readjustment. This is the time of rebirth, but it's most certainly going to also need a little bit of sacrifice that you are going to need to make yourself in order to get where you get at the same time. An important choice when it comes to like maybe lovey-lovey, momenty, an important choice when it comes to love, an important realization when it comes to love, when it comes to feelings, when it comes to emotions, but then at the same time, a very, very powerful time when it comes to the actual hermit moment. My Lord, Capricornius, you're not only having a very strong moment in time when it comes to the actual intuition and a certain hidden agenda that is going to be revealed with this. You're going to be able to protect yourself because the new path is going to be revealed. But at the same time, it's about the hermit moment that you are going to have. And the hermit moment that you are going to have for once, it's going to make you realize what you're in self-denial about, but it's also going to be directly responsible for that push that you needed, that important, powerful push. At the same time, that in itself is going to connect you and it's going to help you to realize new possibilities. It's going to help you to realize new approach to the actual old problems, but on another hand, it's all about the knowledge, sacred knowledge that you're going to be showered by at the same time that you're just going to need to follow through. On another hand, my gorgeous Capricornius, you know what? Now, something that was happening in your life for the last 6 months, and that was also kind of maybe making things indefinite for you. It was making some kind of delay to you. It was bringing fear, when it comes to security, power. It was bringing certain apprehension, maybe connected to certain disloyalty as well, inconclusive gain, and things like that. So this is in the last 6 months, pretty much so, rather nice moment, my gorgeous Capricornius, because you related to this, you are going to have a very good news, and you're going to find yourself in a very nice moment when it comes to your own advancement. It's something that you expected. It's to do with your desires, but it's also to do with like realization that it's nearly due. It's not all going to happen like right here, not right now, but it's all about you moving on and being able to like kind of focus on other things at the same time, because most certainly it's to do with the promotion and the next stage of your life, the next stage of your journey, but even most importantly is to do with the recognition of abilities and the idea. Pay attention, my gorgeous Capricornius, indeed. And if you are looking for work, looking for career, looking to expand yourself, looking to expand your life, just see what is calling you. What do you feel connected to? Would you like the promotion? Just go for it and focus, because your energy is going to be very strong. It may not happen this week, but you will do something that is going to be absolutely ludicrously important for actually later on. So this is going to be a remarkable stage of the actual continuation of things that have been very slow indeed. Okay, in 26 days exactly after this moment in time, there is a powerful stage going to start unfolding for you, my gorgeous Capricornius, indeed. Okay, so now I'm just gonna shuffle these oracle cards, my babies. Okay, bam, dun, dun. Capricornius, dun, 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 dun. Capricornius, dun, 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 dun. Capricornius, dun, 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 dun. So these oracle cards, my babies, Oh, focus, focus, focus. This is important, okay? Which means, you know what you need to do, my babies? Because of a very strong connection with your mind, with your subconscious mind, with your consciousness, it's all going to play an important role. You just need to kind of like think about where would you like your life to be? How would you like your life to unfold? Where would you like where would you like your life to get, you know? What would you like to do next? You know, just focus and focus and focus. It's not about focusing, but it's about sending the message to the universe. So this is the great time to do right before you go to sleep. Just think about it. And the reason why is this great before you go to sleep? Because then we have a very strong reconnection with our subconscious mind while we are sleeping, while we are dreaming. We are also having astral projections at the same time. So that in itself is a powerful time when it comes to finding out things that are very sacred about our lives, little gifts, because something will be revealed to you. So try to focus before you go to sleep, you know, try to think about your life, try to think what would you like to do next, or you don't have to, what would you like to do next, but just try to think like what you're doing right now, and that is enough to send a signal to the universe. And then the next day in the morning, see what is the very first thing on your mind, you know. And this could happen throughout this week. Through this focus, something very important, it's going to be revealed to you, my gorgeous Capricornians, and it's most certainly to do with your own transformation. Dun, 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 dun. Transformation. Dun, dun. See, there you go. So now before I do Aquamarini, I'm just going to have a little bit of water. As usual, Aquamarini, I have to connect and reconnect with my little water. Okie dokie. Oh, you know, Aquamarini, my gorgeous Aquarius, my beautiful Aquamarini, you know, you're going to have a quite important choice to make this week. But this week is going to be equally important when it comes to your emotions, but it's also going to be equally important when it comes to this particular choice that you are going to have. This choice will be very significant for you because later on, down on the line, this is going to bring you one of the greatest honors of your life, where for once you're going to be able to prove yourself, you're going to be able to prove your point, but also when it comes to your burden, certain burden from before, when it comes to unfinished business, you know, this is all going to become the part of the picture. This is important because this is going to bring you the greatest honor of your life. Basically, the option that you're going to have, it's literally going to change your life, but it's not going to happen this week. This week, it's only going to be the beginning. This is the week that you will start feeling your internal power on a completely different level. This is the week that you're going to start feeling your internal energy on a completely different level. And that is going to raise so much around you, so so much within you. It's going to provide you with a very strong sense and very strong feeling of a control over a situation. So you need to take it slow. You need to take it easy. You must not be too sharp. Just remember, and don't rush into any decision. Take situation and things one step at a time, because the opportunity that you're going to have, it's going to seem like, oh yeah, baby, you know, things are going to start changing almost immediately, but it's not. You just need to remember that you need to work like a one thing at a time, and that particular thing that you will do, that is going to unfold, it's going to bring you the world of possibility. Exactly 32 days later, something wonderful is going to happen when it comes to that particular opportunity. But the bottom line is, your life will literally change in such a wonderful way, where you're going to find out something quite significant about yourself, or something quite unique about yourself, and that is going to be directly connected to the beautiful moment where your confidence is just going to become absolutely remarkable, and that in itself is going to help you reach a very enlightening moment at the same time. This week you are also going to have a very important omen. You're going to have a very important sign. Pay attention to synchronicity. Pay attention to the numbers that are repeating. At the same time, when the numbers are repeating, it's very important for you to see the symbolic number of this, the symbolic meaning of this number, but even more importantly, it's very significant for you to remember what is on your mind, because there is going to be quite interesting answer that you're going to have at the same time, because your spirit guide, your guardian angel, is going to try to provide you with an information at the same time, which is going to confirm something to you, and it's connected to like such a confusing stage in the part of your life that is no longer serving you, and it's time for you to cut it out, to make a certain adjustment and readjustment. This is very important, and it's very much needed. On another hand, the omen that you are going to have is going to happen this week, and it's going to be like a little bird. Again, very interesting. This bird is going to be very unusual. This bird is going to be very different, and something is going to be very cute about this bird. Something is going to be very unusual, and something is going to be different. Perhaps it's going to be its color. Perhaps it's going to be the way it's going to be running. Maybe it's going to be running, you see. But I've seen little baby bird the other day. She was running. She was so cute. But perhaps it's going to be a little bird that's going to fly in a really strange and unusual way, but something is going to be unusual and rather cute about that little bird. When you see this, you know, the answer to your question when it comes to time, it's going to be connected to number 3. Number 3 is going to be playing an important role. But on another hand, you also need to pay attention when you see this little bird. This is not just like, oh yeah, just a little bird. No, baby, no. At the same time, you will know that something absolutely mind-blowing is going to be revealed to you. Mind-blowing. And this is so important, because it's going to help you to see things for what they are. It's going to help you to open your eyes. It's going to help you to awake, because something is not clicking quite right. Something is not clicking quite right, and it's to do with a certain dishonesty. And I'm sorry, my babies, but it's to do with certain dishonesty, and it's to do with like a very special and very important people around you. So this is what I want you to know, that you're going to be absolutely fine. You're about to reach a very special and powerful moment of your own personal enlightenment. But this is something that you're going to need to pay attention to, because it's the very important light that is going to start shining around it at the same time, you know. So this is what I need you to understand. And on another hand, when you see, this is when you see that little bird, that omen. On another hand, pay attention to what is on your mind as well, if you possibly can. So you're like outside, let's say, and you know, you're having a cup of tea, having coffee, having water, whatever, and then you see the little bird, and then you just pay attention to it, just what you were thinking just right before you saw that little bird, because it's going to be connected to the answer, and that answer is on another hand going to help you to avoid the certain conflict by working on a certain burden, by actually making the necessary action. In order to do this, you know, you are going to find something quite challenging, but it's to do with the competition, it's to do with the proving yourself, it's to do with also like kind of working on your life, around your life, and seeing like who is draining your energy and who is this figure around you that is quite controlling, and it's affecting you at this stage that your energy is being drained but you haven't done anything wrong. This is very, very important, and it's to do with the conflicting influence at the same time. This week you're also going to have a powerful negotiation, very powerful and important negotiation you're going to have this week, my gorgeous Aquamarine. And this is wonderful because that negotiation is also going to lead towards a rather victorious moment in time, and you are going to have a very important confirmation because not that long ago you made a decision and you were unsure, you were uncertain because you snapped really quickly. The decision that you made affected somebody else at the same time, and you were uncertain and you were blaming yourself. So through this situation you will have a confirmation that you did the right thing, okay? But on another hand, it's to do with you finding yourself in an advanced stage, it's to do with your own victory. And this negotiation also means that if you do want to negotiate, if you do need to do things, if you do need to bring someone in your life, whether it's like a spiritual, whether it's like a personal, whether it's like to do with work, you know, this week it's quite great because you will be shining rather brightly, and also you're going to be showered with a very important wisdom, which means that you will be protected in such a sense when you respond towards the situation that maybe makes you feel like a bit like uncertain, but you will be doing the right thing because you're going to be guided by the spirit guides, guided by the actual angels, and that in itself is going to help you so much to see some kind of hidden emotions that are going to come to the surface, but also at the same time it's to do with your practicality. You will need to be analytical. Just remember, you will need to be analytical this week. This is going to see you through, and also you need to kind of like pay attention to what is making you feel restrained. Time to do certain changes indeed. On another hand, it's all about the actual, you know, an important success this week. Yeah, an important success, and I'm very happy for you, my gorgeous Aquamarine, because it's to do with material attainment, it's to do with you finding yourself on an advanced stage indeed, and also it's to do with your well-being. Pay attention to your well-being. Listen to your body this week. It's very important to listen to your body because your body is going to reveal something to you. Indeed, your body is going to reveal something to you. Is your tummy going to be like hurting, stomach going to be like hurting a little bit, you know? That means that you need to change your diet. And that also means that you are going to need to cut out certain things out of your life. Maybe you drink too much. Cut it down. Maybe you smoky too much. Cut it down. Maybe you're taking too much sugar. Get rid of it, you know. Maybe you drink too much coffee. You need to make the necessary changes. But before you do that, you need to listen to your body, okay? Because your body is going to give you an important realization, what to pay attention to. Indeed. Okay, on another hand, it's just about the actual victory. And I'm so happy because it's something to do with the actual obstacle, you know, and with a certain mistake from like within the last 9 months, you were like kind of blaming yourself as well when it comes to some kind of certain mistake that you have done. And that made you feel like a little bit like a loss. It makes you feel like it brought like a certain obstacle in itself. So now this is a wonderful time because it's just going to be wonderful victory connected to this, and the difficulties are going to come slowly to an end, but it's to do with the stability. An important wish, it's going to come through when it comes to your own stability. You're remarkable. You're going to get like a really important reward this week, my gorgeous Aquamarine, indeed. On another hand, you know, a very important moment when it comes to people in your life is going to take place, you see. But before that happens, you know, it's the safety that you will have, safety that you will feel when it comes to your family, when it comes to your home. This is all about your homecoming time as well at the same time. But then again, it's the reward from a very, very long time. A reward, an important reward is going to come through forward, but it's to do with you, it's to do maybe with people in your family, it's to do with people within your family, it's to do with people that are so close to you. Maybe you don't have a family, but maybe you have a friend or people who are so close to you that are like our family basically. But there's some kind of reward that you're going to have that is going to be connected to this on such a deep, beautiful, spiritual and emotional level at the same time. family matters, and important family matters is going to take place, and it's going to require from you to be strong. It's going to require from you to put your foot down, and it's also going to require from you to kind of be the main person to kind of put an input into it. You must make sure that you are the main person who puts a very major, huge input or impact into it. Yeah, you will see what I mean exactly. But so on another hand, so it's so important week when it comes to the actual communication breakdown. Who did you have a communication breakdown that you really love? Communication breakdown like within your family, communication breakdown with the best friends or someone, you know, whatever, but it's just to do with like pretty much some more like to do with the home, you know, a communication down like maybe perhaps more strongly with like a certain family member. Okay, this is the time to work on that communication breakdown. It's important. I can't stress how important this is going to be, because on one hand it's going to help you out so much with a certain resistance to the certain change, but most importantly it's to do with the completion. Most importantly it's to do with a certain change. Most importantly it's to do with like some kind of like a ending, but also at the same time a very powerful and significant beginning as well. Okay, so now my gorgeous Aquamarini, I'm going to shuffle these cards. Okay, my gorgeous Aquamarini, I'm just going to shuffle these cards, these oracle cards. Security, this is exactly what I was saying. Look, this is not only about like security when it comes to money, when it comes to finances, but this is a lot to do with emotional security. This is a lot to do with you protecting yourself. It's to do with a vision that you are going to have, but that vision is going to be mind-blowing because it's going to surprise you, but then later on it's most certainly going to turn out to be true. And it's to do with the security, more like emotional security, but it's to do with you realizing something, and also at the same time you must make sure that very soon you're going to need to make a certain adjustment and changes in order to get where you want to get, in order to get the security that you want, that you need. But it's most certainly to do with like an emotional security at the same time. If you see standstill, when you're thinking, you know, at some moment in time, something is going to come to you. And that is going to become like a new idea. It's going to become like a new vision that is going to be really important. And later on, it's first going to seem like ridiculous, but then later on, it's going to become like a new opportunity. Okay? And also very strong connection with the water you will have this week. So if you can like maybe stand next to the sea, maybe if you can stand next to the lake or like a river, you know, it's just going to rejuvenate you so much. But most importantly, it's also going to really help you to kind of get this necessary balance in order to respond to some kind of situation, you know, that is no longer serving you anymore, but it's just going to require from you to kind of like just kind of take it in a different way, because on one hand it's going to show you also new possibilities, you know, a new approach, you know, to the problem that was in your life for a while, and that in itself, it's all going to be connected to the very sacred knowledge that you will gain just by being by the water, next to the water for like few minutes. Okay, so before I do Pisces, I'm just going to do a little bit of water. Sorry, I'm drinking lots of water. I'm drinking lots of water because I have been running today. About 10 miles. I've been running about 10 miles. Okay, so now my gorgeous Pisces. Hey, Pisces. Pisces, hey Pisces, my gorgeous Pisces. Just 1 second. Pisces, you are going to have a major turning point this week. Major turning point this week, which is going to surprise you a little bit, but it's going to be really good. But it's time for you to look at the bigger picture. It's time for you to look at the bigger picture, and this is going to surprise you because it's most certainly going to be connected to the actual option that you are going to be provided by at the end of the week. The option that you're going to be provided by at the end of the week is going to be connected to the actual unfinished business that you had over the past 6 months. There was something that was going on in your life and you were affected by it in such a way where, it took you away, it took your emotions away, it took your kind of way of thinking towards a completely different dimension, which kind of took your concentration, and then you just started ignoring this kind of thing that you started. And this is something that you started in your mind. This is something that you have been thinking about, something that you have been focusing on within the last 6 months, but it's just something that you was thinking about, and then you just moved on because other things started to happen and that took your attention away. Now, Pisces, my gorgeous Pisces, this is very important, my gorgeous Pisces, because now the time is right. You are going to have a kind of a very strong connection with your dreams this week as well, and you are going to find yourself kind of having a bit more dreams this week, and that in itself is going to be wonderful because you will know that you're expanding your awareness at the same time, but then on another hand your subconscious mind is now about to evolve to a whole new level. And this is why this week you're going to be provided with this absolutely remarkable moment in times. On one hand, you're going to need to come to terms with the fact that a certain stage of your life is slowly coming to an end. And when that happens, the changes are required. And the changes that I'm talking about are all your pure reflection on what you're doing now. But something is missing and you need to see what it is. Something is not there that it should be there, but you need to see what that is. So it's not like a major, huge, massive change, completely everything is different. No, baby, no. I'm talking about a spiritual seed that is going to be planted this week, but it's connected to your thoughts, to something that was on your mind over the last 6 months, and it was just part of your mind. It was meant to be the part of your spiritual journey at that moment, at that time. But when something is made to be so solid, part of our spiritual journey, it does return indeed into our life when the time is right. And it's according to our spiritual journey, it's according to our karma, and it's according to the fact when the vision is going to be absolutely right. So it's to do with an unfinished business, something that you started, the power of your thoughts over the last 6 months, that this week it's going to come back, and it's going to require from you to connect yourself, reconnect yourself, to maybe brush up on what you could actually learn about, brush up on pay attention to what you are kind of feeling attached to, what you feel attracted to. Because when you're concentrating, not when you're concentrated, but when you're concentrating, on something, this is the time when you drift away, and this is the time when your power is raising in so many different ways, and that in itself is going to bring you the realization, deep concentration, which is connected to deep concentration and application, but it's to do with a certain study, but it's more to do with the reflection of what you're doing now and what exactly you need to bring in. What is missing? Maybe it's just something really tiny. Maybe you are doing something and then you just need to read up a certain few things about it, then you just expand your knowledge, and this is it, Maybe you need to kind of bring more things into it. This is the expansion of what you're doing, This is the spiritual seed that you're planting at the same time, because it's to do with your karma, it's to do with your spiritual journey, it's to do with a promise, it's to do with an idea, here, but it's to do with a wake-up call that you are going to have at the same time, because it's going to start something so tiny, so little, which is going to grow into something absolutely huge, which is going to grow into something absolutely enormous later on. It's to do with your own reflection and respect for knowledge. See what you're going to feel connected to when it comes to respect for knowledge. It could be something so tiny, so little, so insignificant when you think about it, but then later, in exactly 29 days later, this is going to bring you a remarkable new possibility that is going to be huge, that is going to be massive, and it's going to answer very important question to yourself when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to you, when it comes to your spiritual journey, and when it comes to the things that you're doing on this earth. It's going to be such a deep spiritual enlightening moment that you are going to have, connected to new possibilities, new relationships, new approaches to old problems, but at the same time new acquaintance as well. Or it's all about the new knowledge that you are going to be showered by, that is going to just take you somewhere very important, and it's going to help you with a certain conclusion, and that conclusion is going to be absolutely everything, because it's at the same time going to become a very important moment in time of inspiration, and it's going to give you a powerful moment to actually celebrate, for celebration as well. This week, my gorgeous Pisceline, it's very important for you to remember, don't be scared of the unknown. Something is going to be offered to you, but do not block yourself. Do not stop yourself. This is all about you again, jumping in the water. If you don't jump in the water, you will never learn how to swim. This is the week of you jumping into the actual water, because it's to do with the fear of the unknown that you are going to have at the same time. And that fear of the unknown is going to be the greatest sign, the greatest moment, the greatest answer, that a very important moment is going to arise when it comes to the actual future planning. So this is all going to be connected so beautifully, so importantly indeed, and it's going to answer to your very important question when it comes to the actual desire to maybe recover for what is lost, but then at the same time, it's even more importantly, is to do with an abandonment of the stage of your life that no longer serve you, and now is just kind of causing you to be restrained at those parts of your life where you shouldn't be restrained. This week, it's all about the greatest wisdom. Connect yourself on a completely different level. Listen to yourself. Listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to your spirituality, listen what this beautiful week of enlightenment is actually going to do to you, because on one hand it's going to bring you serene knowledge, on another hand that is going to help you to make an absolutely remarkable judgment, but also it's to do with the common sense, but on another hand it's waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right time when you have a control over a situation, and this is purely coming through your own strength and balance, that it's coming through the actual right spiritual balance that you're actually going to have, that you're going to benefit from like there is no tomorrow. It's to do with the common sense, but then again it's to do with the actual hidden emotion. Something else is going to come through, something else is going to come forward, which is most certainly going to need from you to be practical. Don't rush into any decisions, because this week you're also going to need to be rather analytical. Just remember this, because through you being analytical, you're going to help yourself out so much in order to ignore certain ignorance, but also on another hand to help yourself at a time when you feel frequently too restrained. Very, very important week indeed, and you are again going to feel a quite strong connection when it comes to your past, something, you will feel a very strong connection to your past, and I am talking about your childhood. Something that for a long time was on your mind when it comes to your childhood, it's going to be answered to you. Some kind of understanding you're going to have. And this is all coming from this enlightening level. And this understanding, first of all, you're going to have a strong connection with your childhood. And then you're going to dig deeper. 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 And that, on another hand, is going to help you to go to the whole different side of this spiritual journey, which is, on another hand, going to reflect on you in a completely different way. And it's going to provide you with an absolutely remarkable realization, because karmically something is slowly going to come to an end through this realization. But even more importantly is the reflection from the past, which is going to bring you an insight. And that in itself is going to help you so much with an imbalance when it comes to certain commitments. That is going to help you so much when it comes to imbalance that you had when it comes to certain commitments. Oh my Lord, this is so deep, it's so powerful, it's so spiritual, but most certainly it's all connected. You will see. This in itself is going to bring you such an important puzzle. And once the puzzle lands, everything is going to change, because most certainly this imbalance, first of all, reflection from the past is going to bring you an insight. Then that is going to help you so much to understand why you were imbalanced when it comes to certain commitments. But most importantly, it's going to redirect you towards the practicality and security by doing the right thing when it comes to you, your life, and looking at a bigger picture by focusing on things that are attracting you, that are calling you, that you feel attached to, that you feel attracted to this week indeed. You see, it's so important to say, that there is a powerful time when it comes to the actual creativity. You're going to find yourself being so creative. But then again, let me tell you that even if you feel low, even if you feel down, even if you feel negative, my baby, I said this to you before, to break it through, you just start doing things, and you're just going to raise your vibrational energy, in particular this week, almost immediately. This is very important. I know it's going to sound weird, I know it's going to sound bizarre, but by being creative, by being creative, you're actually going to enhance your emotions. I know it sounds weird, and that in itself is just going to give you the necessary strength and the necessary power to accept that something is slowly coming to an end, to accept some kind of to have some kind of important acceptance, With other words, if you feel negative, if you feel low, if you hear the news that is oh God, that reminds you of something very negative, if you hear the news that brings you down a little bit, all you need to do, my baby, is just remember, keep yourself busy. Keep yourself busy. Not only this is going to help you to see things through, not only this is going to reward you, but even most importantly, this is going to help you to realize some kind of acceptance that is going to be absolutely mind-blowing at the same time. On another hand, you're going to hear justice. Just remember, you're going to hear a justice, and you're going to find this very powerful. You're going to find this very significant. And once you hear about this certain justice, you're also going to be aware of the certain hidden agenda. And that is going to open your eyes beautifully. That is going to open your eyes in such a powerful way as well at the same time. Pay attention, because you're going to hear an advice that is not going to be said directly to you, but it's an advice that is just going to become the part of your spiritual journey, and it's going to happen at the time when you least expect it, because you're not going to be directly said this advice. This is why advice you're not going to be directly told by somebody else. But my advice is, when you hear the justice, something that you're going to benefit from so much, it's going to put a big smile on your face. This is the time when you know that this is coming. This is also the time when you will know that this advice that you're going to see is going to help you so much to make an important choice, because it's going to happen when the time is right. And it's at the same time, pay attention, because there will be the certain numbers that are going to be repeating as well. When you see the certain sequences of the numbers repeating, this is also going to be the time when you will know that very, very soon there is a certain advice that is going to travel towards you, around you. Maybe you will even dream about it. Maybe even you're going to even wake up in the morning and you're going to remember something that somebody was saying to you, but it's all going to happen after you hear that justice. And this is the time when also this is going to be remarkable. Because it's going to help you to make an important choice. And that choice, once you make this, is going to bring you the whole new inspiration and the whole new potential, and it's going to make you feel very, very secure. Not only when it comes to your money, not only when it comes to your finances, but when it comes to your emotional security. Your emotional security is at the same time going to be your power. So listen to your feelings, listen to your emotions, because you're going to come to terms with something by doing this, but also you are going to become the part of the very, very important changes when it comes to your emotions. But they're going to be good, they're going to be brilliant. At around the end of the week, the last 2 days, pay attention to the actual vision. You will have a very strange moment. Something very unusual is going to happen. You're going to find yourself being like a part of the slightly different dimension, a bit of like a Twilight Zone, but in a good way, in an unusual way. Okay, pay attention, because something is like going to be very important revealed to you when it comes to the actual vision. It's going to be remarkable, and it's going to make sense to you like there is no tomorrow. It's going to reveal maybe certain hidden enemy that you will be able to avoid at the same time, but then again, it's going to require from you to be very responsible and just keep going. You will know exactly what I mean, my gorgeous Pisceans, indeed. Okay, my gorgeous people, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you, my gorgeous people. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace, and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace, and light to every single one of you, my gorgeous people. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love you all. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.